saying going live, going live, going live. Okay, we live. It says so. Yo, start off with this. I'm gonna be straightforward, honest. It's smoky as hell in here because I got that frankincense burning. It made me think twice about it because it's super smoky in here. It look like I'm in the damn a chimney. But that is not why I went live, G. Like real life. I could turn out the light and it'll make it where it's less interference because the light gets trapped in the smoke. So 1 second. Cat's trapped in the room. Go ahead, boy. I didn't know he was in here. Alright, so no more light trapped in the smoke. Or smoke trapped in the light. There you go. It's a little bit better. First off, I'm gonna start off with saying, how y'all doing? I don't know who's seeing this or whatnot. Let me plug my headphones back in. How y'all doing out there? Turn the volume up so I can hear. I say hear like I'm gonna hear somebody talking back. It's just straight up me. But this is about that movie disclosure day, to be honest with you. That movie kind of tripped me out, bro. Cause it made me think about my life. Honestly. So when I was a kid, a bunch of different shit happened to me. Like a bunch of different shit happened to me. And how did this man, Steven Spielberg, have so much detail on what happened? That's the thing that got me. Because a lot of things that happened in my life happened on that movie. And that's the part that kind of hit me different because it's like, yo, what kind of files do you got? Who you been talking to? Unless it happened directly to him. I don't know if it did happen directly to him. I'm not there. I don't know him. You feel me? But I do know what happened to me. I do know what happened to me. Yes, I rocked this shirt to the movie because I was thinking it was gonna be just another alien movie. And I was kind of dissecting the movie while watching it because I have an extreme amount of knowledge in regards to that subject. So I was dissecting it, trying to see what was really good. And in me dissecting that movie, Disclosure Day, it let me know that dude has either been through it himself or he has had some people talk to him who have been through those things. Because I'm gonna break something down to you. This is wholehearted, honest. People who know me know this about me since before this freaking movie came out. I can't remember anything of my childhood beyond the first time that I seen what you call aliens. Can't remember nothing. The most, like, it's like my life started then, which is weird. I only remember one flash before that when I was in a stroller going up to a house in Chicago. We were like, it wasn't a house, it was a freaking apartment complex, or it looked like projects because they had the little stairwells going up the side of it. It was all brick. That's the only thing that I remember beyond the first time that I seen them. He got some things Well, he got a lot of things right in that movie. I ain't even gonna lie. I'm not gonna discredit the man. He did his research. I'll give you that. He did an extreme amount of research before that movie. Even down to the way that they sound when they talk. I don't care if anybody thinks that I'm crazy after this or what. I don't care. When I was young, I'm not even gonna go into that one. So say this. Okay. One night, this is not the first time, but one night I woke up in the middle of the night and something woke me up rather. My window was open and right above me was what you would call a gray alien. And it made these sounds to me back then. I equated it to static. I said, it sounds like freaking static. They have a way of kind of making you calm down because, like, most people, they'll think, oh, I'm going to freak out when I see them. Didn't freak out at all. It was speaking in my ear, some weird staticky noise. And I didn't ever equate it to anything until I heard those clicks on that movie. Now, the clicks on the movie let me know that that man knows what he's talking about. Like, for real, for real. That man knows what he's talking about because they were making sounds that could only be equated to electromagnetic frequencies in my mind. Now, it was like a popping sound, just like that freaking movie. And it tripped me out when I first heard that on the movie because I heard it in real life before. Now they'd trip out and say, bro, you tripping. But like I said before, anybody who knows me in real life knows that I'm not lying. I'm not tripping at all. Not lying and not tripping at all. I don't have no reason to lie. I don't have no reason to trip. I'm really just trying to let you guys know that that man was on to something in that movie. The man was on to something. And it really kind of just put things in a perspective for me because like I, prior to that, man, I don't remember Jack. I don't remember nothing, man. Hmm. My comment. What happened? I'll tell you what happened. Ever since I was a kid, they've been coming to me. They've been giving me music. They've been giving me information. They've been giving me different things. And a lot of times they're giving me music. So one time I woke up in the middle of the night and I woke up with a song from my dream. They gave me a song in my dream. And when I woke up in the bathroom corridor, or doorway, whatever you want to call it, it was your regular gray alien, black eyes. And by this time in my life, I was like 30, I was in my 30s. So it's like, I'm still in my 30s right now, but I was in my 30s and I wasn't scared no more. And so I got up on my bed and I walked to the bathroom and I was gonna go meet him and talk to him like, yo, what are you doing? Like, what's up? What do you want? Type stuff. And as soon as I got closer to him, it's like he dissolved into the blackness of the bathroom. It's like he dissolved into the blackness of the bathroom. Is the only way that I can describe it. He dissolved into the blackness of the bathroom. They didn't show that on the movie at all. There was no dissolving or anything of that nature. They were just there. The one that I seen, well, one of the ones that I seen, he dissolved into the shadows. It's like he faded back into his realm or his so-called dimension, whatever you want to call it, faded back into it. And my thing is what I've discerned from a lot of the knowledge that I've gained is the fact they are correct when they say extra dimensional entities, because that is the reason why they can go through walls. That's the reason why they can take you through walls. That's the reason why they can fade into nothingness and blackness, is because they're not from here. They're not from this dimension. So when they come into this dimension, I would assume that it takes a lot of energy to stay here because it's so heavy. So the amount of energy that it takes to stay here is hard to sustain. So you can only stay here for a limited time. So that means whatever you're telling someone had to be extremely important. Extremely important. And it's like, that's dude. So in that movie, I'm gonna talk about the movie real quick. In the movie, there was an instance where she was holding this device in her hand and it allowed them to be invisible. Couple that with the thoughts of how they're able to cloak their ships nowadays, and you can only see them with infrared goggles, such as these infrared goggles. So I would suggest, if you want to see a being or a ship or something of that nature, get you some infrared goggles. And that would allow you to see in a different spectrum than your eyes are actually able to see currently. It works. It works. I showed people things on those goggles before that you can't see with your naked eye. You cannot see it with your naked eye unless they want you to see it. So many pieces of music have come from them. Why do they give me music? Ever since I was young, I used to just get music in my dreams. There was one dream that I had where I was sitting in front of an old 1930s TV, regular bulb. It's like, it wasn't that big at all. It was about this big of a TV, and it had the four peg legs that came out the bottom of the TV. And on the TV was static, but there was a song that was playing from the TV, and that is that song, Beautiful Time. And this is not promotion for that song, Beautiful Time, at all. It's just telling you that song, if you ever hear Beautiful Time from me, that's where that song came from. There's a bunch of songs that I've gotten from them. I have over 5,500 songs. No, I haven't released them all because I'm waiting for people's minds to be ready. So my brothers and my sister, but mainly my brothers when I was young, they used to say, "Man, what kind of music is that? It's like you're mixing like techno with hip hop." Because back then there was no such thing as EDM. So that was EDM. People don't understand EDM came from another place. It did not come from this planet. EDM came from those who govern electricity and can manipulate electricity. That's their music. They gave it to us as a form of soft disclosure or drip feeding. So they would give us different pieces of information and they give us different pieces of information, different musics and things of that nature. So where we would become kind of used to the way of their life. So me, I can when the lady in the movie was able to feel, they dramatized it a little bit in regards to being able to like know everybody's everything about everybody. Most of the time it doesn't work like that. Most of the time it works like it's just a push. It's like you know it, but you don't know it at the same time. And then when you say it, a lot of times people act like what you're saying is falsified. And in the back of their mind, they know it's true. And then they come back to you later and say that it was true. But initially, they're so thrown off by the fact that you know what's inside of their head that they kind of brush it off like, oh, no, 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 no. Because they're afraid, like, okay, if he knows this, what else does he know about what's in my head? So it's really about what's on the tip of their tongue. You can't see, oh, I know all of your past and all of the stuff like that. That was dramatization. There probably is some people on this planet that can do it like that, but from my experience, it comes in regards to a slight knowing, I would call it, a slight knowing. That movie hit me so hard. I was with a family member when I watched the movie, and she said, "Oh, that's where you get your big head from." She was like, "Your grandpa, that's your grandpa right there." Because she's been with me in regards to some, for instance, this right here. People talk about Neuralink and all that stuff. I'm gonna show you something. What's the purpose of not anymore? So for instance, there is a scar, you see, on my head. Imagine going to sleep. Imagine going to sleep and having a dream, a so-called dream. So in the movie, they talk about how they show you images of what you can take at that moment. If you can take their true form, they'll show you their true form. If you can't take their true form, they won't show you their true form. They'll just take what you can accept at that moment, just to save you from having fear, because they really don't want you to fear them. So imagine, I had experiences a lot in my life. So I told my wife, I told her, I was like, hey, I don't want to go to sleep right now, because if I go to sleep right now, something's going to happen. She was like, no, it's been a long time. Nothing's happened. Come to bed. So I don't go to bed early on purpose because there's a window in which they can come. So I said, F it at that night. I felt bad because each night I would try to stay up, make music, or I play video games or whatnot just to avoid going to sleep. So that night I felt bad about staying up and making her go to bed by herself all the time. So I went to bed with her. I went to sleep at 12. Keep that in mind. I woke up in another room. You can call it a dream or whatever. I fell asleep in my bed. I woke up in another room. In that room, I was on a table. I was on the table. Um, and when I seen that scene in the movie where they had the light room and those kids were on the table, it took me back. It took me back heavy. So I woke up in a room that was bright, but not so bright that you close your eyes, but bright enough to where everything can be seen. There was no discernible light bulbs. There was no light bulbs. It was just light. I looked at the wall. The wall was super smooth metal. super smooth, super smooth. You couldn't tell the roof from the wall because I couldn't see the floor, but I can guess that the floor was the same as that. You couldn't tell the roof from the wall at all. It was just smooth, melted metal almost. It didn't look melted because it looked fashioned. It looked fashioned. And in the middle of the wall, there was a rectangle that was protruding from the wall. It was a part of the wall, but it protruded from the wall. And it was shined to a mirror's finish. So I looked into the mirror, and that's when I seen I was on a table. Then I looked down at my chest because the only thing I could move was like my eyes. So I looked down at my chest, and it was like a sheet over my chest. That's when I knew where I was. Because this happened like a good 4 years ago now. And by that time, I had full well knowledge of what has been going on in my life and what's up. So I looked back to the mirror, and then I looked up above myself, and there was a doctor above my head. This man had on black gloves, white shirt into the black gloves, a black apron, a blue mask, and a black hair bonnet. And some very shiny glasses. Not way shinier than these, but and there was like a blue tint in the glasses, a blue tint to the glasses. That was before I knew about blue light filters. It was like 4 years ago. This was before blue light filters was like big thing. I didn't know about blue light filters back then. Probably somebody else had blue light filters. I don't know. But his glasses had like a blue sheen to it when he tilted his head down. And when he tilted his head down, he smiled. And the only reason why I knew he smiled is because his crow's feet, like, you know what I'm saying? When somebody smiles, the crow's feet, like, god dang, the crow's feet crinkled. And it let me know he was smiling. I'm like, what is this guy smiling at me for? And then he reached out of my vision because I can only see in that rectangle. So he reached out of view of my vision. His arm went down and he picked up a blue drill. I'll never forget it. He picked up a blue drill and slowly went to my head and started drilling right in that spot in my head. Now, you know the feeling of when you go to the dentist and you get a cavity filled and whatnot. Like I had a tooth pulled right here. But you know the feeling when you go get a cavity drilled out and you can feel the pressure, but you can't feel the pain. It was the exact same thing. It was, but I couldn't hear the drill. I couldn't hear it at all. But I felt like a cringe. I felt like, you know how it feels when you're getting a needle put in you or something like that. It didn't feel like that, but you know when you see something going in, you're like, oh shit. I seen this man drilling into my head, and I said, oh, I felt the pressure, and I blacked out. Next thing I know, I wake up and I'm in my bed. I felt my head. Ah, I felt my head, and it was raw, like it stung. It was stinging, like it hurt to the touch, super tender. So I got up out of my bed, I went to the bathroom, and I checked the mirror, and I screamed. And my wife woke up, like, what? I said, look. And when I showed her, she was like, what the fuck happened? What did you do? Disbelief. You know what I'm saying? Like, what did you do? I was like, I didn't do nothing. I checked the clock after I got done freaking out and looking at it. It was 3 in the morning. Now tell me what kind of doctor you know that can perform a surgery and heal you in less than 3 hours. You tell me what doctor you know that can drill into your skull, seal your skull up with scar tissue. Mind you, there was no skull on my head for fucking almost a year. There was no skull. It was so hard to brush my hair after that because it was tender. And I still can't flip without feeling this feeling. That's the best way I can describe it. It's like, you know, when you get hit in your funny bone, try that all over your body when you do a front flip. But ever since then, things have been different. And one thing I remember is at that time, I did have a dental issue, and the tooth had became like infected, I guess, because it started swelling. And I'm thinking since it was on the top and it started swelling, it was probably leaking bacteria into my brain. And he had to go into my brain to save me from dying because maybe some of the infection had got into my brain. Only thing I could deduce. Before I deduced that, I went through everything in my head. I was like, did she shoot me in my head when I was asleep? I was literally thinking that my wife had shot me in the head when I was asleep. But then I was thinking, there's no blood on the pillow. How would it heal up that quick? And everybody in the neighborhood would have heard a gunshot and police would have been called and all that stuff. Yeah, that was wild, man. That was wild. Stuff really started to change after that. But even before then, when I was a child, my youngest memory that I have, besides that flash of me being in the carriage, my youngest memory that I have is one night I was sitting in my bed, and that scene in that movie took me back to that. One night I was sitting in my bed. There was only so the kitchen was above me because I'm laying horizontally. Imagine me laying horizontally right now on my back. The kitchen was above me, the door to the kitchen. The door to the kitchen was closed. There was also a door to the hallway below me. The door to the hallway was open. Yet you could, and I had an amber nightlight that was to my left, an amber nightlight, and I'm sitting while I'm laying right beside the window in my bunk bed. My sister was sleeping in the top bunk. I was sleeping in the bottom bunk because I'm the youngest. So I was sleeping in the bottom bunk. Something woke me up out of my sleep again. I had this weird feeling in my chest. Weird feeling in my chest, like my solar plexus area. Not necessarily my high chest, but my solar plexus area. And I was thinking, something's here. Is my instinct was like, something's here. And I looked in the darkness of the hallway. I was like, nah, nothing ain't there. I'm cool. So I took the covers, put them back over my shoulder, rolled over to the side, and tried to go to sleep. But something intensified and was like, nah, bro, something is there. So the second time I looked back, there was a large green glowing. So imagine this. Each doorway is like 7 feet tall, right? Each doorway is like 7 feet tall. This man was like this tall away from the doorway. So he had to be at least like 6'10", 6'9", either 6'10" or 6'9". Really tall, because each doorway is 7 foot tall. So he had to be at least 6'9", 6'10". This man's bones were glowing green. The only reason why I knew that is because the light was so intense, it made his skin look translucent. So imagine shining a flashlight through your hand. You know how you can see the bones within your hand when you shine an intense flashlight through it? It was like that, except for the opposite. The flesh wasn't being illuminated. The bones were illuminated, and it was illuminating the flesh. Now, without that light, I would deduce that his skin color was gray. But he had such a bright light coming from inside of him that it made his skin look green. And thinking back, there are two types of those entities, tall ones and short ones. That's why some people say little green men and things of that nature. So as soon as I seen him and got over the shock factor of seeing him, I did what any child would. I turned back over my bed. I put the covers over my head, turned towards the window. Not even 2 seconds after I put the covers over my head, my hands, phew, my whole body got stiff, and the covers shot from my head down to my feet. The covers moved without being touched from my head down to my feet. My whole body shifted back from the window to like this, and my head was turned towards him. So it was like, and my eyes could move, but my body couldn't. And I looked down, my covers were down on my feet, and I looked to the left, and he instantaneously moved from, with no sound, mind you, moved from the doorway over to the directly to the side of my bed, leaning down. And I remember his eyes. His eyes looked like polished memorial marble. His eyes looked like if you ever went to a gravesite and seen memorials for the veterans, and they have the extremely polished either obsidian or black marble, and you can see your face in the marble, but you can still see that the fact there that it's black. It's just like that. Really black, glassy, really, really reflective black and glassy. And regardless of how small I was and how young I was, I still got up enough energy in my head, and I shook my way over. I shook my way over to the window. Like it took every ounce of strength I had in me to turn my head to the window. And when I finally turned my head to the window to stop looking at him, there was a light that came through the blinds. It came from the bottom blind. It's like somebody was shining the brightest, bright, what's called the brightest flashlight from the bottom all the way up. And the light came through each blind, each blind, each blind. And when it got to my eye, I closed my eyes and I blacked out. That takes me back to when people say don't look into the light or don't go into the light. I blacked out. And when I opened my eyes, I was directly in my backyard. How did I go through the window into my backyard, in the middle of my backyard? Now, mind you, in retrospect, this is at least 60 feet away from the house, at least 60 feet away from the house, at the same height as my bed, except for in the middle of the yard. Now, I'm looking at the front porch. Me being a young boy, I'm looking at the front porch like, where's my dog? Where's my dog? Because I was expecting my dog to come save me because he was a big Rottweiler. I looked down the porch, he was not there. I looked under the porch, he was not there. And I couldn't find him. And then when I was looking at him, I noticed that there was a bright shining light coming down on me. So I looked at my chest and noticed that the light was flashing down on my chest. So I slowly looked up to the origin of the light. And as soon as I looked at the light, out again. The next thing I remember is the fact of that, next thing that I remember is the fact of that I was sitting on the edge of my bed, came to sitting on the edge of my bed. I started bawling out crying because I was a little kid, about like 7 years old. I started bawling out crying. My dad came busting his room. What the fuck you crying for? Now, my brother, two of my brothers actually, told me that something I don't even remember. They told me that I was knocking on the back door to get in, and they hurry up and let me in before my pops woke up because my pops was like real militant, real tyrannical at that time. He was real militant and real tyrannical. So they hurried up and let me in because I was banging on the back door to get in. I don't remember that. I don't remember banging on the back door to get back in. The only thing I remember was coming to my senses on the edge of my bed. I don't know if I banged or knocked or whatever, like, but they said that, like, they said banging, but I don't think at that age I would have had enough strength to super bang on the back door. So I knocked on the back door, I guess, because that's what they said. Only thing I remember was me opening my eyes. on the edge of the bed, sitting up on the edge of the bed. And I started bawling out crying. My pops came in there and gave me a whooping because when he came in there and said, "What the fuck you crying for? Fuck you crying for? Don't be crying like no F word." You know what I'm saying? So I told him why I was crying. And then he whooped me again because he said that I was lying. Come to find out, this man had experiences with him when he was a kid. And I guess he was so fearful that they were coming back again. I guess he was so fearful that it was happening to me and then it had the potential to happen to him that he whooped me because they thought I was making stuff up. A child doesn't have the imagination to make that up. I never forgot that. Imagine going through all these years not being able to talk to people about it because they'll be thinking you're twisted, you're crazy, whatever. Not wanting to lose your credibility as a human being in regards to all the scientific knowledge that you've accumulated and you're being able to give people things to be able to help them out. They would just throw it out the window because you're a crazy man. Why should I believe you? So it was really a reprieve to see this movie, but at the same time, it effed me up, dude, because it's like that was my childhood. That was my childhood, bro. Not being able to remember, getting taken, getting given messages with those sounds, bro. He did like real stuff. You see these goosebumps? When I talk about it, it gives me goosebumps. I'm not joking, y'all. I'm not joking. All over my body, goosebumps, bro. I'm not freaking joking. This is real talk. If you think I'm lying, shame on you. Because I don't got no time to lie. I'm speaking from the soul so much that I got goosebumps. Imagine going through your whole life, seeing all these things, getting taken, not remembering stuff. And it's like, what are they doing? What are they doing this for? And I have an undying love for everybody. It's odd. And my thing to those people and conspiracy theorists that say, oh, they're here to take over the world, they're here to kill us, they're going to kill us all. Bro, I would have been dead if they were evil. I would have been dead. Everybody who lived with me would have been dead. For all the people who've lived with me before, there's been shit that has happened, isn't it? Hasn't it? Not only just so-called aliens, but ghostly things that have happened to me. And you know why? Because it's a dimensional rift that happens. And even ghosts are in a different dimension. So that rift is kind of blurred when I come around. There's so much more that I'm not saying. I implore anybody who has any doubts, pay for my x-ray and you'll see what's in there. Pay for my CAT scan. Fly me out. Have me take these tests. There was one time in my life where my knuckles and my fingers were swelling. The middle part of my bone was swelling. And I found out that that's radiation sickness. Your bones start to change due to radiation sickness. I guess they fixed those problems because my bones have since gone back to normal. Oddly, too, my skull shape has changed over time. I have this, I don't even know what to call it. My skull shape has changed. There's a point on the back of my skull. It didn't used to be that way. There's so much that I want to say, but I can't say it. They're not the evil ones. Put it like that. They've been trying to help us out forever. They're what you guys call angels. The old terms, they call them angels. Now they call them aliens. And then we have some people saying that they're demons. I don't know. But from the experiences I've had, they have benefited me. The scariest part to me is I know that my life is going to be extremely extended, and I don't want to watch people that I love pass away. That's why I've tried not to love. When I was young, I tried not to love people. I had a really estranged, and there was, for instance, one time I drew this picture of an alien with two lights, a, a ball of light and then a beam of light going into his head on this side, a ball of light and then a beam of light going into his head on that side, and his hand coming down onto the top of the globe, and then liquid, some weird liquid splashing out of his hand. That same night, my brother had a dream that he was in a cathedral, large cathedral, and he was being married to his at that time girlfriend. He was being married by two aliens, two lights coming into one. And he said that when he woke up, he was in a pool of liquid, goopy liquid, just like the liquid that I drew that same night. If you think I'm lying, ask Big Bayday. Go to his page, Big Bayday. Ask him. He doesn't like agreeing with people. Like, sorry, Bayday, but like you're kind of disagreeable in regards to unless it aligns with what you know to be true. Ask him that. He ain't gonna lie for me. He gonna tell you that I'm telling the truth. There's been so many occurrences. They used to come on the top of the roof, and one time they slipped. When I stayed in the room with him, again, I was on the bottom bunk. When I stayed in the room with him, he was on top bunk. He heard one of them slide and slip on the roof. They were monitoring me. Why? What's so special? I understand. I do understand. I'm very special because there's not anything that I can't do. I fix cars. I weld. I do carpentry. I build homes. I do plumbing. I do freaking music, arts of any kind, painting, drawing, carving, sculpting. I used to love math. I still love math. I was student of the month all the time. Extremely smart. There's nothing I can't do. And I'm an extremely good marksman. I know guns in and out. I know freaking peace and love in and out. I've done home health care, taking care of an elderly couple for 3 years. Like I'm a caretaker. I care for people. I can grow crops. Like there's not anything that I can think of that I can't do besides fail my heart. I'll never go against my heart. My instincts are so sharp. Today, I was offered an opportunity to go fix somebody's starter. Before I went out there, my intuition or my inner voice had said, "Hey, brother, that's going to be a waste of your time. You have a lot of work that you need to do here. Don't go out there. All money is not worth it." I was like, "Nah, I don't want to let nobody down." So I went out there. Long story short, I couldn't do the job. They told me, "You're not going to be able to do the job. You might as well just stay here. It's going to be a waste of time. You got a lot of stuff you need to do here." And like I said, it's not like a discernible voice saying, "Hey, brother, don't go out there. It's going to be a waste of time." It's a feeling, and it's your own voice. It's a feeling that you get. And lo and behold, when I went out there, I felt bad because I couldn't help the lady out. I told her, I was like, "Hey, you're going to have somebody take the CV axle off, the throttle body off, and you're also going to have somebody have to take the engine mount off, which is going to shift the engine. You're going to have somebody to sustain the engine. I'm not going to be under there lifting up an engine that's 800 pounds while trying to put on a starter. It's not happening." I say, "Yo, You're gonna have to get somebody else to do it. Wasting my time going out there. But at least it gave them more knowledge as to what they need to do to get that job done. I felt bad that I couldn't help them people out, but I should have listened to my instincts. My instincts told me, don't go out there. My instincts are always right. Now either I go with it or go against it. If you get a gut feeling, go with your gut feeling. It ain't gonna steer you wrong. That's your first brain, as Dr. B would say. Your gut is your first brain. Shout out to Dr. B. Dr. B, you know, even if you don't say everything, you know. I don't know why they told you not to say things. Maybe there's more danger on your life than there is mine, but you know. I've been shot at before. Bullets were going around me. I stood still. My brother will tell you about that. My brother was there with me. He put his hand on my stomach, was like, yo. He didn't even say nothing, actually. He just put his hand on my stomach, and I stopped. Guy pulled the rifle out the back of his white car, pulled the rifle out the back of the car, shot 30 times. In retrospect, it was a 30-round clip. Bullets were ripping around me. They were going around me. I could hear them on both sides. So that means he was aiming for my head, number one. We came out there the next day. It was caution tape, bullet holes all throughout the side of that apartment. There was something moving the bullets around me. Another time, I saved my brother's life when he jumped in the pool. I can't swim. He jumped in the pool a 9 foot, trying to be a jokester or whatever. And I seen him flailing. Now, me, regardless of if I can't swim, if I see somebody needs help, I'm going to try my best to help them. I didn't even think about the fact that, bro, you can't swim. I ran. I guess subconsciously I did think about the fact that I couldn't swim because I ran and jumped exactly beside him so that I didn't have to swim to him. So I ran and jumped, landed right beside him. I grabbed him by his elbow and his rib cage and thrust him above the water. I looked up. He was still flailing and shit. He pushed down on my head because he was trying to get above water. So I came up one more time, grabbed him, and pushed him extra hard that time. Thrust him above the water so he can get some air. But as I threw him up, I went down. And I was like, okay, cool. He's okay. But now I'm screwed. So when I see my nephew jump in the water, retrospect, I don't know how I seen him jump in the water when I was underwater, but I seen my nephew jump in the water. I was like, all right, he's cool. Now I need to get out of here. So I started on like in a seated position, doggy paddling towards the edge of the pool. Again, you can ask him to see if I'm lying. He'll remember me saving his life. This big beta. Ask him. He'll remember me saving his life. So I started doggy paddling towards the edge of the pool. And all of a sudden, I feel two hands on my butt pushing me. Two hands pushing me towards the edge while I'm doggy paddling. I finally get my elbow up on the edge of the pool, get my hand up, and I yank myself up and turn around to thank whoever was there. I was going to thank them for pushing me to the edge. This is exactly right after the hands pushed me to the edge. Nobody was in the pool. Nobody was in the pool. So who pushed me to the edge of the pool? What pushed me to the edge of the pool? I distinctly remember two hands pushing me to the edge of the pool, and I pulled myself up. But what pushed me to the edge of the pool? I know this has been like a long video and a long talk, but it's like, dude, I can't get no more real than this. It's been years And I haven't told nobody about this because I was, like, afraid to tell people about this stuff. But that movie opened my eyes. It was like, "Bro, you went through this stuff for a reason. This stuff happened to you for a reason. It didn't happen to you for you to cower into a ball and keep it to yourself, just like the music that I got. I'm going to start dropping all this music that might be alien music to y'all, but I'm gonna start dropping all this music because they didn't give me this music for no reason. I literally had a dream last night, and my dreams are just like this. I could talk, walk, move, taste, freaking breathe, feel things. Dude, I had a dream last night. I'm gonna tell y'all. I was pulling hair, long hair I felt it coming out of my throat and out of my stomach. Imagine keeping pulling hair after hair after hair after hair. It was one long bundle of hair when I got through pulling it out. And when I got through pulling it out, I was in the studio. I was like, bro, this music that y'all playing ain't got no substance, bro. It's whack. And it was like, what do you know about music? And I was like, bro, I got 5,500 musical compositions. This is what I said in my dream. I got 5,500 musical compositions under my belt. I could play the violin, the drums, the keyboard, the guitar, the flute, the cello, whatever you want. I said, that's what I know about making music. And the guy was like, oh. And right before I was like, well, play this. I was about to play them some of my music. And right before I got to play them some of my music, my freaking alarm went off. My work alarm went off. And this is not even a day that I'm supposed to be working, but I forgot to turn it off last night. My work alarm went off. But it's crazy though, because 3 minutes after my work alarm went off, my father called me and he wanted to meet up with me. So that was just a way of me being. And as I'm telling y'all this ridge on the top of my head is starting to feel weird. So I'm gonna stop talking because I guess I'm talking too much. I'm gonna stop talking. I love y'all. Y'all have a great, great night. There's so much more about my life, but it'll seem like too much if I tell you right now. So you guys have a great night. I appreciate those who came here and spent time with me. I appreciate you. Y'all have a great night. Peace to y'all.